Astrology old as the world. Claim made that it can be traced to Adam. The beginning of astrology occurred a long time ago, so long ago that it was before any recorded history. Every period of man's existence on this planet in this present form has included knowledge of planetary influences. The historian Josephus, who lived in the 1st century, tells us astrology was known and used by a former race that lived on the earth before the flood, stating that they received their information concerning the zodiac and planets from Adam, who in turn had been taught by God himself. Josephus also said the flood had been foreseen by Seth, who engraved his prediction on the 2 pillars of stone. The historian added that he himself had seen the remains of those pillars. He further stated that Noah used and taught the science of astrology, and with Enos preserved it to the days of Abraham. Abraham, we learn from other sources, chiefly the works of Bishop Eusebius, one of the most learned and just men of the 4th century, was a great adept, or even a master of Chaldean astrology. The astrology of the Chaldeans was of secret nature, concealed by everything along the gamut, from reverse symbols to an unfathomable code known as the priest alphabet, in which true meanings were recorded, abbreviated, and mixed up. Years of study were required merely to learn this alphabet, we are told. And then the candidate who could at least read the words had practically to learn another language to find out what they meant. It is unfortunate that such was the case, according to deeper students of this subject today, for many of the great keys to a true understanding of life and the higher laws of nature perished with their possessors. We may have the books they left, but we are largely in the dark as to their real message. Moses was known to be a master of astrological wisdom and its application. Pierce, a leading astrologer of the 19th century, says Moses was taught by the Chaldean Magi, and we know Magi are the Moors, who were also the instructors of the great Egyptian priesthood. Noble Drew Ali, Professor Drew, the Egyptian Adept. For this reason, it is believed by students the first 5 books of the Bible accredited to Moses might well be a part of this mysterious and marvelous literature. The Romans did all they could to ruin real astrology, for they used it as a divinatory art almost exclusively, pretending to tell fortunes of kings, and in other ways using its terms and symbols for personal and political promotion. That's what they do today. It is the distortion of astrology which occurred under Nero, Domitian, and all emperors that our present-day objectors rightfully discredit. Fortunately, the knowledge we have of planetary influences and their mode of action in the human realm will enable us to reconstruct most, if not all, of the lost wisdom. Those who have been powerful links in the chain of knowledge that reaches up to us from that great civilization under the Chaldeans and Egyptians, now slowly being rebuilt for our modern minds, are the scientific leaders of history. The world is forever in debt to Pythagoras, to Plato, to Newton, to Kepler, to Napier, and to a host of other men of vision and penetration, all of whom have spoken definitely for astrology. First, see your lamb. Lambs and luck go together seemingly. In some English superstitions, according to an old North Country tradition, to ensure the best of good fortune during the coming months, you must see your first lamb of the year on your right-hand side. If you do, you are supposed to confirm your luck by spitting over your little finger. Then you will be sure that everything will go good for you for the rest of the year. Though the public performance of miracles is rather discouraged by the Osophists, Madame Blavatsky, the great founder of the society, did as Mr. Sennett had told us, many strange things by reason of long study and years of esotism. Some portion of adept powers had been conferred upon her, and she could at any rate create missing teacups and saucers and bring little notes fluttering down through the air whenever they would do the most good. And I remember seeing a story in regards to Noble Drew Ali being at the table with, what's that European, the Thelema? Aleister Crowley. It was saying that Noble Drew Ali was sitting at the table with all these people, and he made a piece of paper float up off of the table and float and land in front of Aleister Crowley. You know what I'm saying? And Aleister Crowley was alive from 1875 to 1947. Now, Madame Blavatsky, I think it was like, she may have passed 7 to 5 years before the prophet was born. A well-known financier was told by an Egyptian adept that the reason why certain ventures had turned out disastrous was that the mystic number of his house gave out adverse vibrations. The council would not permit him to change the name of his residence, so he sold it on the advice of the seer and bought a new home with the right kind of vibration in its same. Strangely enough, he claims that he has since been successful in all his business dealings. The hall of the temple was a forest of ferns, which gave a pleasing effect, reminiscent of the Carboniferous age and the dawn of time. Back of the platform were yellow curtains, through which the sunlight filtered and gave a peculiar, mysterious, and altogether winsome effect. Near the ceiling was suspended a glass star, lighted by electricity. The center of it was yellow, and the points were purple. The middle of the platform was occupied by a sphinx. Nearby was an altar upon which rested a censer of hammered brass. On the wall back of the sphinx hung a roll of parchment inscribed with mystical characters. On the platform sat 14 people of the inner circle of the blank blank. It stands for the occult organization within the society, the name of which is known only to the few. It is never spoken above a whisper. These people in regalia of purple, ornamented with a silver check, were arranged in a semicircle. The front of the stage was held by an adept in occultism, otherwise known as he who must be obeyed. This adept was on the platform, yet he was so closely veiled that no one was able to distinguish his features. He wore a long purple robe which reached to his feet. A full view of him was cut off by a papier-mâché stump covered with Grand Street artificial leaves. It was symbolic of the tree of life. So 2 years ago, Truth Science 151, they made a video, Noble Drew Ali exposed before the Turkish Fez or whatever. And they found an article speaking about someone that was an Egyptian adept, but the newspaper had him misidentified as Thomas Drew. So I went on there to find the little clip that I can play about the purple robe. An hour and 26 minutes, right? As soon as I press on play and I move forward to try to find it, automatically. So we got it, brothers. Hold up.
Uh-oh. Listen closely. Let's get a visual picture of how Dr. Thomas Drew, the Egyptian adept, medicine man, magician, was looking before he was noble. Attired in a loosely fitting, multicolored gown and with a brilliant purple hood covering his head. Not attired in fez or turban or anything like that. Before he was noble, his shtick was, once again, attired in a loosely fitting, multicolored gown and with a brilliant purple hood covering his head.
He said he was an Egyptian adept.
Y'all remember how the Undertaker used to come to the ring? Picture that. Y'all remember how the wizard looked in a wizard? Picture that. Y'all old enough to remember Dungeons and Dragons? Picture that. This is before he was noble. Shall I continue?
You see how these people speak? They speak in ignorance. He was an Egyptian adept, that's what he said. And you just seen what that Egyptian adept was doing. And then they'd try to get on him because a woman came to his home. I believe she was claiming to acquire herbs for healing. And she gave him 5 notes. But a servant is worthy of a man's hire. And when the woman gave him the 5 notes, the cops come in and arrest this man or whatever for getting 5 notes for his service. These people will try to drag your profit down to the lowest and they have no idea. But when justice comes upon them swiftly in the middle of the night, I leave you in peace and love, brothers and sisters. Divine honors the Prophet Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish divine and national movement of the world.
Nationalities. When you wake up to Noble Drew Ali. Every night you waste is one more loss. The vibration feels so slow while justice is hung on the cross, and they don't care. They watch the prophet get chased around the building. If I was there, I'd lay them all down. They be bleeding and kneeling, leaking like silk. Don't get mad, I'm just a voice of wonder. If you black, you under. They go rape and plunder, leave you in the sun. To all the sellout package sellers, may your money burn. From you I never learned. I'll chop you down and sit you in the urn. When you wake up to nationalities, when you wake up to Noble Drew Ali. Voice of no return, Ali's love I earned. Ain't concerned with all you turncoats. Circle 7 I yearn. Walking through this building, Moorish arches above my head, silver and gold below my feet, and I won't fold until I'm dead. Everything I know is from the Moors, and that's for sure. From the shores of Tripoli to Mississippi, House of Tours. All praise due to Allah, honors to Ali. Don't know where I be, probably in the cage, screaming in my sleep. I'll see it then. Every night wasted is another more loss. Y'all better get to work.